Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us in this edition of the program 360 Degrees. We are beaming live from the economic capital, Douala. For some time now, we have been witnessing the growing rises, the growing violence in young people in Cameroon, be it at home, be it in school, be it at the society at large. We see young people being killed in school by their own schoolmates. We see teachers being murdered in school by their own students. And recently we saw a case in Betua where a student was stabbed to death by his own classmate. And this week, a journalist was killed in Yaoundé and butchered like a cow. And to make matters worse, it is being alleged that the barbaric act was carried out by her own son. Today we are asking the question, what went wrong? Where have the moral values that youths used to grow up with, where have they gone to? And how can we remedy the situation? That would be the question we'll be trying to answer this day during this edition of the program. Do not move a muscle. We shall be right back. You are welcome back. This week, Muslims across the country joined their counterparts in the world to celebrate the feast of Ramadan after 30 days of fasting. And that was just one of the news-making events of this week. We shall go take some of the news-making events that occurred this week. And when we shall be back, you'll get to discover our guests.
It is a pretty crazy soap opera scenario that has been constituting talking points and sending lips flapping across Cameroon in recent days. And it all revolves around the subject of the appointment of a new coach hired to replace the ejected Rigobert Song. The Belgian-born Marc Brice was indeed appointed to the surprise of many football stakeholders and observers for the position. The decision taken by the Ministry of Sports almost immediately provoked an uproar, with the Cameroon Football Federation FECAFOOT led by Samuel Eto'o announcing its embarrassment on the grounds that the minister acted unilaterally. At an emergency conclave held at the weekend, FECAFOOT Executive Committee members bestowed upon Samuel Eto'o the power to appoint a new staff for the Indomitable Lions within 72 hours. That deadline expires Tuesday, and before then, the unfolding saga was accorded a fresh twist Sunday evening when Marc Brice arrived in the capital Yaoundé to start his new adventure. According to the Belgian, he is eager to get to work as soon as possible and is pleased with the decision by the Cameroon government to select him as Rigobert Song's successor. It is hard to tell in the meantime what the future holds for the frenzied and image-tarnishing conflict between the ministry and the federation, but observers are almost unanimous that the battle for control of the country's national football team speaks volumes about what the common man is yet to perceive.
The presumed burglar must have profited from the Champions League match at the front building to enter from behind, made way directly to the office on the 5th floor, and using his own key entered for business. Pressed, the owners of the office rushed upstairs to serve.
We came and then we noticed the keys that we have are not opening the door, meaning that there's another key inside. So we tried, we rang the bell, we knocked, nobody reacted inside. So we knew that there was somebody inside, but we didn't know it was a thief. So we thought it was a colleague from the office. But we decided that since the person is not opening and is not reacting, we will lock the door from outside. But the person needs the door to be open, the person will call. Then we will come and open. So we got an iron, bent it, then blocked it.
An early morning call brought them face to face with the cops, and they came to realize their office has been burgled. They cut from sheets and other clothing, indicates the escape route that sure ended fatal. Informed, the police, gendarmes like forensic pathologists arrived to the scene, tracing and encircling all chains, computer that could help unravel the mystery man. His purse and contents, alongside telephone, facilitated the task. The identification paper carries Guy Machan Fenjo Adamo Mfopa, 48 years, born in Fumban, West Region, but unfortunately, no one can personally identify him. Very painful to see a young guy dead, whereas he's having his hands and legs. We question how he even climbed up to fall here. Door of the office was then forced open. He took the ride down through the toilet window. At the time of our report, after the forces of law and order have gotten all the necessary information, the Yaoundé 6 council officials were to carry corpse away.
The commander of separatist fighters who ordered the 1-month closure of the Trans-African road from Bamenda to Manfi and Ekok has been killed. General Ground Zero and another by name General Sock My Bobby were reportedly neutralized in yet another military raid in some localities in their native Batibo subdivision, barely a few days after the expiring of the 1-month embargo. Conversely, a faction of the separatists has announced the reopening of the Guzang market tomorrow, Thursday, April 11. The market, which is the largest in Momo division, had been closed for some months due to the threats from the fighters. In a video circulating on the internet, a spokesperson displays agricultural and other commercial produce getting rotten for lack of buyers. In a separate development, a new prosecutor has taken over service at the Bamenda Military Tribunal. Lieutenant Colonel Emmanuel Keboni on Tuesday, April 9, took over from Lieutenant Colonel Ngopayu Yusufa. The two have swapped duties in Marwa and Bamenda respectively. The handing over service was presided over by the Director of Military Justice, Colonel Jofak Sylvestre Pascal, who came in from Yaoundé for the occasion that was characterized by successive indoor meetings with both military and civilian magistrates and the general staff of the tribunal, to whom he called for assiduity at work in a region where the current armed conflict has led to the proliferation of arms and ammunition, which is the exclusive domain of competence of the military tribunal.
Thanks for watching those reports. There we go straight to welcome our guests for today. I begin from my right, where I have Dr. Fawn Elizabeth. She's the CEO of TESHO, and then she is a youth mentor and a counselor. This is your first time on 360 Degrees. You're welcome.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. From one lady to another, I move to Madame NDONGMO CV Jacqueline. It's a face you know very well. She is a peace activist, the president of WILF International. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you once again for inviting me. I'm happy, but I'm so honored to see the company, especially my sister, Dr. Fawn Elizabeth. Honestly, I didn't want to see her here because I didn't respect the rendezvous, but I'm so happy to see her. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's the magic of 360 Degrees. You don't know where you meet. And I move over to our MICAH. I always have difficulties pronouncing that name. Right. Yeah, he's a journalist based here in Douala.
Right.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Thanks very much. It's a pleasure to meet Dr. Fawn here. I mean, to her mom, it's a pleasure too. And to all our viewers, it's a pleasure to be on the platform again to talk about what is important.
Yeah.
And, well, it's about exactly a month since I lost my mom.
We're sorry.
My mom married Menka. I let her to rest in peace. That's in the Northwest region.
Okay.
And I continue to pray that her soul rest in peace.
You will.
And that there be peace in those two regions.
Thank you so much. Everything being equal, we'll be having Apostle Dr. AMBE Valentine, who will be joining us very soon. But Ma, let me come back to you. During the week, you heard that a journalist was killed in Yaoundé and butchered like a cow, her body parts packed in a bag. How did you perceive that kind of news?
It's a cry for help. from our society, the youth of our society. They are crying for help. Let us not just look at the crime and condemn the child or condemn the parents. Something went wrong. They didn't have a relationship. Because if they have this loving mother-son relationship, the son will not do that. I mean, in our culture, children take care of their parents. Then to see a child do that to the parent, there's something wrong. Maybe the child was on drugs. How did the child end up being on drugs? Maybe the child had mental problems. Did somebody see the mental problems and get help to the child? Maybe the child had been going through some trauma. Maybe the parents got separated. Maybe the child was bullied in school. Maybe. So there are so many things. The child was going through something and nobody listened to the child. Now we have the result. We are talking about it today. What of the other youths? What of the other children? What happens when there's another case tomorrow? How do we prevent that from happening today?
We shall get there. Ma, when she says what she's saying, but we're talking about a son. It is alleged anyway, it's not yet proven by any court. A son murdering the mother. Not only ending there, but going to an extent of mutilating her. That should be a sacrilege. Yes,
permit me to kind of disrupt what we have started talking about. To say that I would like to start on a positive note. Because the topic is so sad, but it's worth talking about. I would like just to say that at Youth Cameroon, Women International League for Peace and Freedom, the Cameroon section is celebrating its 10th anniversary. So the celebration have started, and this is the first time. So I want to honor you on this panel by giving you one of our visibility materials that we have produced for this celebration. So officially, the activities range from the 22nd to the 20th. To the 30th of April, and we are going to have a peace march in Douala. You will all be invited, but you are the first to receive our visibility material.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much.
Wow, this is good.
I think any move that has to do with peace at this point in time is encouraged, because we are in their need of peace.
So we are really in their need of it. So that's what I'm inviting you to, the peace march on the 20th of April. But I think Dr. Fon has spoken. It's a strong message. It's a strong message that is sent to us individually as parents, but as a society. You know, most of the time the act is there, but we should interrogate what are the root causes of this. What made this child to reach to such extent? There is something wrong somewhere, and we need to interrogate that something. Even if this child is put in prison and jail and so on, it doesn't solve a problem. So we should really do proper analysis. What's the problem? And we see that that's not the only case. There are many cases like that. Therefore, we need to really take the time. But she has mentioned a good number of form of reasons that can be the cause. But I can even go beyond that. She's talking about the child who can be under drugs and so many things. But also, even the parents are also under too much pressure. Honestly, the parents are going through a lot. I want to take just one example. The increase, the high cost of living can make parents to get mad. Parents are trying their best to feed their family, and for that reason, sometimes they are not always available. And also, they are also suffering depression as parents. Therefore, you see the consequence. So that's why I think that we should really dig deep and understand what are the roots.
And just to add is that the guy in question is said to be a graduate from NDONGMO. That means the parents have already gone an extra mile to see that he becomes a man.
So that's why I'm saying that it's a drama. It is a drama, but it's a strong call for us at different levels. Starting, I would like to point fingers, starting from the government, because all the families, our actions are to support, but at the government level, we should really take the bull by the horn and to see what is pushing our children to reach to such extent. I've just mentioned one example. There are many other examples that we can bring on board here.
Mr. Awa, if a child is being able to kill the parents, how safe are those unrelated people around that child?
Yeah.
No one is safe, unfortunately. I'm not the best, but I think that God gave me the grace to take care of my mom for 9 good years before she finally passed on the 2nd of March this year.
Yeah.
She stayed with me as a patient and I took good care of her until she passed on in my hands. To me, it was only an opportunity to be able to recognize her effort for making me who I am.
Yeah.
And I tell people, the day it is universally declared that there is no God, look for your mom and start worshiping her.
Yeah, I know.
It's very important. Yeah. But now, back to our topic of discussion. I wouldn't want to point fingers. Society has failed, and we've all contributed to that. Whether government, even the church, is to be held responsible. Again, it's a call, it's a universal call, involving the executive, the judiciary, the legislative, and the fourth state, the media. We cannot sit here to condemn people for acting wrong.
Yeah.
Let's look at what went wrong. A lot has gone wrong. And I think there is so much that has to do with education. Who am I? Someone asked me. And I responded. I passed the test, I was happy. But I've also asked a lot of people, who are you? And sometimes it's very offending. It's not supposed to be an offending question. We simply want to understand what personality you are made of.
Sure.
Because that is one of the reasons that contributes to you behaving the way you do. Why do people behave the way they do? We agree that there are about 4 factors that contribute to that. You have the environment, you have temperament, that's your personality, who
Genetics.
you are.
Yes.
Right, genetics. You have environment and you have parenting. All of these factors have contributed in children killing their parents and also parents killing their children. But we're here to talk about children killing their parents, which is unfortunate. It is important for us to begin to have a community conversation around these factors. What is the behavior of my child? Is my child influenced by some demons? Or these are some personality traits that need to be disciplined? Temperament. Under that, we may not have enough time to talk about this.
Yes.
But we understand that we have 4 groups of personalities. You have the sanguine, the choleric, the melancholy, the phlegmatic. It is important for parents. This falls on parents. While you are bringing up your children, it is important for you to pay keen attention to this threat in these children. Of course, the excesses can be brought under control, can be disciplined, but when left uncontrolled, we have results like this. I'm from Bamenda, and I know about 2 notorious neighborhoods there. Hey, I'm saying hello to those of you in Tamulung, Old Town and Rendezvous. Now, I want you to look at this comparative analysis. There is a child that is brought up at Upstation, GRA, or Frontier Street.
Yes.
And there's another one that is born and brought up in Old Town, Tamulung, or Rendezvous. Put these 2 children together, you see 2 different personalities influenced by the environment. One is calm, gentle, the other is what we don't want to talk about now.
Thank you so much. Yes, Madam Elizabeth, when he says what he says, we have the impression that some parents have failed in their duties, because disciplining a child begins at home. That is the basic unit of where a child grows up. Do we see, maybe, can we say some parents nowadays do not even know their children?
The thing is that parents have not studied parenting. They repeat what their parents did to them. And the times have changed. So they needed to change the tactics. But honestly, you don't blame parents because they don't even have anything to go by. For example, take the youths. They teach them in school the longest and the largest river. Take 100 students, they'll tell you the Amazon. What is the highest mountain in the world? They'll tell you Mount Everest. Okay, now, go to relationships. What is the most important skill in relationships? I'm talking high school students who are going to leave and go into relationships at home or at work. What is the most important relationship skill? If you are lucky, they will tell you communication.
Right.
Then you tell them, in communication, what is the most important aspect of it?
Right.
I'll be like, okay, active listening, if they know it. And then you ask them, what is the magic phrase that can stop a bomb from detonating?
I'm sorry.
They'll look at you. If you are lucky, they'll say, I am sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I am sorry has verbal and non-verbal aspects to it. Listen to this. Somebody will say, I beg leave and so now. All right, I'm sorry. That's an ineffective apology.
Yes.
They need to teach these students in high school that if you want to apologize, is it to your mate, is it to your boss, is it to your friend,
Your mother?
your mother, you hold the person's hand if it's your family member, and you say, you look the person in the eye, and you say, please mom, I am sorry, forgive me.
How can I make
Thank
this
you.
right?
Yes. How can I make amends?
Yes.
Yeah, and she made mention of schools. And in those days, we used to know that a stubborn child at home could be disciplined in school. But it is not like that today. What went wrong? NDONGMO?
No, but she said something very, very right. I remember when I was in high school, a teacher, he's of late now, used to say, when you come in, you say, I'm sorry. I remember one day he sent another colleague out of the class because she said, you are saying you are sorry, but you are smiling. So, yeah, you are
So
sorry.
the facial expression speaks volume.
Yeah, speaks volume.
Yes.
So, yeah, but I think what went wrong, he indicated clearly that it's not one category of people cannot be held accountable for that. It's a collective responsibility. But that's why we are doing this conversation to see what are the dynamics around it. And she mentioned the family level. Yes, the family level, and even at the family level, there are many dynamics. It's true that because of the economic constraint, a parent have less time for their children. And I think that they should try with all the happenings to spare more time for their children.
Right.
But also in the school curriculum, I'm a teacher by profession. We have to be honest to say that the teachers are the second family for the children. And therefore, the way teachers are treated is also very important.
Good.
I remember when I was in primary school and in the secondary school, the way teachers were taking care of us. But now, the teachers, because of a valuable reason, spend more time complaining because they are also under pressure. So, the moral values that you are looking for are a kind of shading out simply because of what I can underline factor, and one of the reasons is the teacher. Of course, even what is the academic background of the teachers now. I want to be very honest with you. I'm a teacher by profession, and I started in Lycée Bilingue Bafoussam. I remember a lady, she was coming from Bamenda. She was stand and then see the bus coming from Yaoundé. She said, and just stop and go, because she was very clear that she didn't want to go to École Normale Supérieure. It's her father. So it all depends on how you got into this profession, what the moral, the vision you have. So that's why we can say that we have to analyze the dynamic. But at the end of the day, something is sure. We need collectively to say that this should stop and try to see what everybody, each sector can do at its own level to make this.
And we've equally seen school administrators openly telling teachers in front of students that they got no right.
I saw that.
To give, to discipline them maybe by beating. Is that contributing to the guts that we see these young people developing today?
Sincerely speaking, it contributes to that. I think that we are facing a leadership crisis. Both at home and out there. And even school, the principal tells the student or the teacher in front of the student, you don't have the right to discipline the children. What do you expect? That's chaos you have just created. And when the consequences come, we cry. I think that it is time for each and every one of us, parents, teachers, so long as you are in some place of leadership, at home, in school, out there, please take your responsibility. Let's fix this. It's no longer time for us to say parents are bad, teachers are bad. Let's stand up as mature people who want to see a stable society. Let's stand up as people who have actually truly seen a problem and think that if we let this go for another decade, we'll be gone. All of us will be gone.
Yeah.
Let's also be able to graciously talk to ourselves and tell ourselves the truth. Because at this point, we pretend as though we don't see these things.
But they are there.
We're sweeping that under the carpet.
Yeah.
And when the bomb explodes, we will come here to cry. We text all of us and we'll come here to cry and say, oh, a child has killed the mother.
Yeah.
Well, there's another sensitive aspect of this I want to highlight. This might touch a couple of nerves out there so far as I'm a man, but I have to say this. Let's look at the background of these violent children. Where do they come from? Do they have parenting from both angles? Some of them, most of the cases I know, are children abandoned to their moms by some man, father.
Yeah, who got her pregnant.
Got her pregnant and disappeared. He only wanted for that night, and after that, they don't know his whereabouts. And this poor lady suffers with this child with perhaps no skills, no job, and you can imagine all of her frustration she will pour on the kids, and that creates trauma, childhood trauma. The child grows with that, and tomorrow manifests on that. Sometimes the mother simply just disciplines the child out of frustration, and the child interprets that as hate, and nurses that kind of discord between mother and son or daughter relationship. And tomorrow we begin to see things like this. I think that we need to pick up our responsibilities. I'm sorry, you lady, before you say yes I love you, please look at the look at the man, eyeball to eyeball. I mean, like, look who is talking to you. If you get pregnant today, would you have this man stand by you and stand by you and make sure the child grows and he is there? Even if you guys are not married, there's co-parenting. Will he be available for you and the child? You, the man yourself, my brother, ask yourself. Let's look at ourselves in the mirror. I mean, you really want to hit and run. What becomes, I mean, gentlemen don't do that.
Sure.
In a society where we all want peace and stability, men ought to be conscious. Men ought to understand that it is my responsibility not to impregnate a woman and disappear. But if it so happens, I've got to stay there as a father, as a human being.
Thank you so much, Mr. Awa. Yes, from the school to the society at large. 2 weeks ago, a man was stabbed to death by a bike rider because of 300 francs CFA.
Hi, my God.
A conflict that resulted from the fact that he gave his destination, and somewhere along the line, the bike guy said, I will not continue again. They now started exchanging. All of a sudden, the guy removed the knife. Why should young people even carry such killer weapons along?
The truth is that when we don't teach our children in the society how to control their emotions, and they learn this at home, mom and dad, they get into a conflict, and then they see the way dad will walk away. You understand? And come back smiling. They know that you can do that. But if they don't learn from us, the parents, and this is where I talk about conscious parenting. Conscious parenting means that you are the role model for your children. The way you behave, they would see and copy. So be very conscious the way you behave in front of them. Quarrels, conflicts are going to occur in every relationship, at home, in school, at work. We need to learn anger management techniques, and we can learn that from home. If we cannot, we can teach in school. You can teach in school. So conscious parenting means that you begin to portray those characteristics to your children, those core values, and you consciously decide to be a parent. Do chores with your children. It doesn't make you less of a man or less of a woman. Go out with your children. I'm here with my daughter, Mave. This is the first time she's coming to Canal, but she will never forget this experience. And it gives me time to be able to talk with her. So we've had about our 1 hour together. when we do things like that, it reinforces the relationship.
I'll be coming back to you. Let me take one of the many messages that we have here. This one is coming from, unfortunately the name is not there. Good day, sir, nice program. Other things to add is the occult practices in our society today. Thank you so much. I think that is a very beautiful contribution. Let me stay with you. You work with young people, you mentor young people. What are some of the behavioral problems that you notice that even you as counselors, it's difficult for you to provide solutions?
The thing is that young people need 3 things from their parents. They need to be listened to, they need to be understood, and they need to be valued. We in Africa, we spend a lot of time picking out the wrongs of our children. I mean, including me.
Right.
I've done it as a parent.
Yes.
And I remember my daughter telling me one time, this is something that happened to her 10 years ago. And she said, Mom, you remember the day I came to tell you I was going to school, and you scolded me because there was water on the bathroom floor. You didn't even look at the water on the floor. Somebody came and reported that I had not cleaned the bathroom floor. And you scolded me. I cried from here to Bamenda. She was in boarding school. She told me this 10 years after the fact. I didn't even know that, you know, she was that hurt.
She was hurt.
So, if we don't talk to our children, we don't listen to them, we are never going to build that kind of relationship where the children have confidence in themselves to be able to go out in life and be the best persons that they can be.
Right.
It starts from home.
Thank you so much. And like the many viewers that have already contributed, you can equally contribute to our talking points through the numbers you have, the number you have on your screen, SMS and WhatsApp only. Please, those insisting to call, we cannot take your call. Just drop your message, be precise and concise so that we read it out here. Let me get to Madame Sylvie. There's a woman who made an outing on Facebook or social media saying that all of this is happening because some laws are getting so weak in our country. Is there a need for us to tighten some laws so that it can scale away, it can frighten people to get back to the normal behaviors that we know?
I think in a way she's right. She's right because like now we were we contributed to the advocacy that has brought the Minister of Women Empowerment and Family to launch a few months ago, I said it when I was here the other time, a law to fight gender-based violence. To start, so this is important to have laws, so it kind of put frameworks and then boundaries. But laws are not enough. They are not enough because talking about the case of Cameroon, we have a good legal system, we have enough laws, but it's about how are they implemented, the application, And for instance, about all these cases, you remember that this recent year, people are speaking up. But because in those days, somebody will commit a murder and then you see the person just moving around, impunity. So this lady is right in the sense that laws are important, but I'll add to it that it's not only law, it's the implementation, the proper implementation of the law, so that the person who commits such an act should know that there is something he's going to pay for. But if there is still impunity, then there is a problem. So that's why I'm saying that she's right in a way. But I don't want to repeat what my sister has said. She talked about the family environment, which is very critical. But I want to add to what she said beyond the family. I'm always thinking that families, all the families make a society. And then when you see these children, many parents have invested in them. Then at one point, they have no access to opportunities, financial opportunities, unemployment. So that's why I'm saying that apart from the family compound, let's dig deep. And I can tell you that unemployment is one of the reasons.
Oh yes.
All the university boys, girls are now bike riders. What do we expect from them?
They'll be violent.
It's a lot of frustration. Which has nothing to do with the family. The parents have paid for the school fees, but at the end of the day, these children end up coming back to the parent to ask for the basic necessities. That's a problem. Secondly, what happened when you are sick? You need money. Sometimes when you have an accident, if you don't have money, they will not take care of you. So look at this. So these are situations that are really making people to not be at ease. And I want to end by saying that when I talk about governance, honestly, that's what I'm always saying, that even when they're talking about the crisis in the English region of Cameroon, I say no, don't just look, kill all the what you call AMBE boys. It will not solve any problem. It will not solve, because it's like, what is the reason? People cannot be producing something and they cannot benefit from it. So just to say that there is a great frustration from the way things are being governed in the country. You are seeing every day talking about billion, and then you are lacking just 10,000 for your drugs. How do you expect that child to feel?
Is it possible for government to decide that every Cameroonian, we are 25 million of us, if anybody does not have a job, at least you have your 100, 200,000 francs a month, where you can take care of your basic necessities. Is it possible? They do it in other countries. They call it, how do they call it in France?
Social amenities.
Social amenities and so on. Why can't we do it?
You wanted to add something?
Yes, I think that let's not downplay on the creative power of our young people. The unemployment is a universal crisis. In the United States, people are unemployed. They're even on the streets. In Europe, we find people on the streets. Let's rather look at how we can make these stumbling blocks our stepping stones.
But my brother,
I'm not true. There is unemployment.
I want to tell you that in those countries that you have cited, there is unemployment, but at least they have.
No, it's well structured. I think we were talking about this society.
They even know the numbers. They even know the numbers of the unemployed.
Do you mean we don't know the
numbers?
It's true. I agree. I subscribe to that. Even as it stands now.
And when they create new jobs, they know the numbers.
Madame Fon said that was an example in a way that we could be like 25 million, but I think that we're more than that. Because it's been long, a census was done to really determine how many Cameroonians are there. So let's not talk about that. But I think unemployment is a universal crisis. It hits us hard here because we have structures that are failing us, system that is not sensitive, and also leadership that does not listen. If we actually have a system that pays attention to these graduates, there is never a day government will employ all the graduates. We will have never seen that.
True.
But we expect that there should be some structure that encourages the creative power of young people when they leave school. So much so that if they can't find work, they should be able to unleash their creative power and do something for themselves. They fulfill. They are able to add value into their lives, that of the family, and then contribute to nation building. But what do we have? We have rather people stealing government money, taxpayers' money. Government money is taxpayers' money.
Our money.
In billions, our money. I mean, my money. Steal my money. Do whatever thing you want to do with it. And then you go sit in one. Well, let's not talk all here. Sometime we'll come back here to talk about what really needs to be done to solve the problem that we're here to talk about.
Permit me take this message before we continue from Afidi Michael from Yaoundé. Good afternoon, sir. I just want to greet you people and to say you are doing a great job. Thank you so much. It will be good if all parents were listening to this program. Well, if you know a parent by you who is not listening, just get to the parent and say there is something beneficial here. Let's take this other one. Good afternoon. I am writing from Boyo Division. At times, parents give freedom to children, which is not good, and their children turn to disobey the laws of the nation. Thus, violence come in. Which freedom is the worst thing to be given in life without restriction? That message, unfortunately, the person did not sign the message. Yes, is modernism playing a role in all this?
Yeah, I think so. I think modernism without education is playing a role. Who are those people that we listen to? Influencers who tell us anything.
Very good.
Meanwhile, when we're growing up in the village, we knew the boundaries that you couldn't cross. The whole village, it took the whole village to bring up a child.
Right.
Today, modernism, you don't touch my child.
It was an abomination for a child to point at a finger to an elder, whosoever the elder is.
Yes. We all brought up the children together. And you know, now in conscious parenting, you know that when the child from 0 to 10 years, you are the disciplinarian. You are not their friend. Let's not bring in modernism to say you are the friend to your children. My children, no, not so Marvel. I'm not your child. I'm not your friend. No. Till the age of 10, 12, you set the boundaries. You set the rules. They obey the rules. And when they obey the rules, you praise them.
Madam Fon, sorry for interrupting.
Yes.
Does that not contribute to what we now see children within that age range escaping from home? And
because you let them escape into phones, you let them escape into television. In our home, during the school time, they will not watch TV till Friday. We sit down with them and we explain to them why television during the week is not good for your school work. Then we get them the buy-in. And they understand. You come to our house on weekdays, you say, put on the TV. They'll say, no, we are sorry. In this house, we don't watch TV until weekend.
Of course. So let's take this other message. There are many. Let me just pick this one. It is in French, but I'll just try to translate. It's coming from Mr.
I read it in French. I'm sure you will.
Mr. Njomini. I don't know where he's writing from. He says, look at our society. When teachers have been reduced to where they are today, what do you expect? Yes.
Yeah, I said it earlier. I said it earlier because I indicated that I'm a teacher by profession. I know what I'm talking about. The teachers are the big family or the second family for the children. And that's why in those days, your child will come back home. And when you are helping the child to do the homework, the minute you tell the child that no, do this, she will tell you no. My teacher said this because the teacher for the child is a reference, and then they used to be a reference. Yes. Wow. But now things are changing because there is already a lot of frustration from the teachers' side. Therefore, they are not playing the role it used to be. But apart from the teachers, what the conditions? It's not only the teachers, but even the working conditions. I remember we used to be like 40-something in class. But before, when I was a teacher, I had 150 students in the class. How do you expect a teacher to manage 150 children? It's not possible. Even if the teacher has the best will in the world. The time to be talking to each and every child, 1 hour is finished. So it's high time to rethink even the teaching condition, even the teaching environment. If you really want the teacher to be put in those conditions that they are really looking forward to supporting the children very well. Now I want to refer to what you indicated about unemployment. I agree strongly with you about it's not the Cameroonian thing, and also agree with the fact that when we talk about unemployment, of course, it's giving employment, but also, as you indicate, having a conducive environment for the children to have their own potential. So maximize. So this is something that should be looked into. That is why, at the end of the day, whether from the teacher's perspective, from the faith perspective, from the media perspective, from the parent perspective, from us civil society, there is need to, as you said, collective action, collective thinking first, and then collective action. And then please, this is a call as a peace leader. It's a high time we try and go beyond our differences. And those differences are kind of separating us the more. Let's go beyond and try and salvage our society.
Right. Thank you so much. Before I get to you, there is a message here coming from Mr. Chia. Just an encouragement. Good morning. I am interested in your program. Keep it up. Now,
that's good.
The situation is getting out of hand. We all acknowledge that. What concrete way forward? How do we salvage it concretely?
It's a collective fight. It brings together the parents, leaders, society, leaders of the community for us to be able to chart the way forward. But a couple of proposals I will make.
Of course.
Education brings light. And when we talk about education here, we are not talking about that which the four walls give us.
They are not talking about
They
reading and writing.
Going to school from to wherever has not produced anything good. And that's why we're here. So we rather want to look at holistic education to be what can resolve this. And it starts at the level. I'm happy Madame NDONGMO is here from the civil society, Dr. Fon is here. It is time for us to create some sort of synergy that brings together the media, the civil society, the legislative, why not the executive, the judiciary. Let's do some conference and sit down to talk about this. What can we do? From the judiciary, it's not just passing judgment and sending somebody to prison.
Yes.
If that were the case, I think we should not be here talking about this. It's not about voting laws, passing them, that restricts people from committing crimes. If that were the fact, we would not be here talking about this.
Sure.
It's also not about the civil society advocating for peace, calling for people to drop down whatever that is hurting people. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here talking about that. I think that what we are talking about is deeper than really what we would have time to talk about here today. Let's come together. It's no longer about the parents not taking his or her responsibility. It's not longer about the president of the republic that is failing. It's not longer about those laws that don't work. It's not longer about those teachers that have become perhaps violent or not very attentive or listening or frustrated. It's really no longer about these children taking up weapons against their parents. It's about a society that is going down the drain. And those who live in that society need to take up their responsibility to come together to say, enough is enough, we can put a stop to this. It's true we may not know the way forward, but let's come together.
And think it.
Because whatever it is we say here as solution, somebody out there who belongs to the other side of it might not subscribe to that. So you are just wasting your time. So can we now come together and reason? Let's reason together. Our children are killing us. What did we do? Where did we go wrong? Our parents
how did they start?
How did we get here? A child you carried for 9 months successfully gave birth to that child. You didn't think of killing the child.
You celebrated?
You celebrated. That was born house, right?
Born house. Baby shower. Baby shower. Born house.
We enjoyed ourselves. The child went to nursery 1. We were glad. Maybe the child is even more intelligent, takes the first position to high school, goes to university, and then now a graduate. Doesn't only kills his mother, mutilated the mother to the extent to what we are seeing. That is deeper than what it is. And I think that also we're not living out the church. It's time the church begin to look at people now and tell them straight in their eyes. A sinful soul will perish in hell if you do not repent. And even if it doesn't catch up with you, man, there are consequences that will catch up with you here. And those consequences are far-reaching. It is also time for the church to stand up and preach the right message of repentance. That hating your parent, the Holy Book says, children, obey your parents so that your days on earth may be long. And also says that parents, bring up a child in the way that he should grow. So when he grows old, he doesn't depart from that.
And that is another factor that is leading to this division, because we have churches who preach what you say. We have to equally have churches who believe when a child leaves and goes to that church, if the parent is not in that church, they intoxicate the child to say your parent is a kind of pagan.
Unfortunately, we are at that level of
the church being
mediocrity. Yes.
That's it.
Maturity needs to step in here. Why should I be judging a Catholic Christian because I am Pentecostal?
That is it.
Why should I be judging a Pentecostal because I'm Catholic or Presbyterian or Baptist? If we are still at this level, then you see we have a long way to go in resolving our issues, internal issues. Even look at the crisis in Northwest and Southwest. Let's not talk about the church anyways.
Yes, Madam.
I wanted to say something. There's a Swahili proverb that says that it is easy to nurse a pregnancy, but very difficult to bring up a child. So let's not just deliver children and keep them, not knowing that we need to bring them up. And I'm sure there are parents listening to us They want to be like, what can I do?
Yes.
I'm conscious. What can I do? I want to tell those parents, please, mom, please, dad, you need to have some indicators in place.
Wow.
If you don't have indicators in place, you will talk about this, you'll be worried, you'll be angry, but nothing will change. For example, how many times do you eat with your children together? At the time you are eating, you look at them, they can talk, and you can hear what they have to say. How many times do you tell your children to bring their friends home so that you can see the kind of people they are working
the child moves with?
Yes, because birds of a feather flock together. How many times do you have a meeting just for you and your children? In our home, we have what is called the girls meeting with me and the boys meeting with the dad, right, Mabel?
Right.
And a general meeting with you too.
And the general meeting with the family. So it's like 3 days a week, at least, we have to eat at table together. If a child is on drugs, they do the drugs at home. They start doing the drugs at
That's
home.
medication?
Yes, no, drugs like
hard drugs, right.
marijuana, like this, tramol, which is something that youths take a lot here. When they start doing that, they do it at home. So if you have the habit of eating with your child, you will see that, hey, there's something wrong with this child. You might ask and the child will say there's nothing, but you know as a parent that something is wrong. You pick it up early. If not, if you don't have the habit of eating with your children, you come home, John, where are you? I'm in the toilet. They're in the toilet doing drugs.
Right.
I'm in the toilet. I'm in the toilet, mom. I'm in the toilet, dad. And you eat alone, you go to sleep. Your child is doing drugs right under your own eyes. You don't know your child's friends. You don't even talk to your child. And in our TESHO program, which is Team Spirit Holistic, we say Papa is the team captain of the family team. Mama is the coach. And the children are the star players. Meaning that they work as a team.
Okay, before I come back to you, let's take some messages. Good day to you all in the station. I really love this topic and the educative contributions we are getting from you people. I really love this topic and the educational contributions we are getting from you people. I think the government should look onto the rights of teachers because they hold a key role in modeling the society. Students learn more in schools because that is where they spend more of their time. And parents should work with teachers to help build the attitude of these youths. That is coming from Mr. Jaring.
Some of these teachers who have not been paid
Mr. Jaring from Bonaprizo. Yes. Okay, another one here. What a great program. Keep it up. Hope the powers that be are listening to the lofty ideas and the contributions the panelists are giving. That's coming from Mr. Ngwa, writing from Garwa. Yes, you wanted to react to that message.
I'm rather just worried that people we consider life wire of society are neglected. Are people who we think should really matter in the development of our community, our children, are neglected. And teachers are some of the people we're talking about here. I'm just worried in my mind, how can a teacher who has not been paid for 1 year really contribute in the upbringing of the child as second home, Madame NDONGMO did mention? How is that? I mean, I try to find out.
How can they give what they don't have?
How can they give what they don't have? We're talking about a teacher who is struggling to, perhaps that frustration gets even to his or her own family. What more of your own child that is not even related to him or her? So I think that we need conscience. We need conscience activated to be able to sort out these things. And this is to the powers that be. Those who create schools. And the ministries that are in charge. Please, it's not just signing some documents giving more powers to students to challenge teachers. It's also seeing that these teachers are well paid and their conditions are good enough so that they teach and go home as happy parents too to their own children. And now they can bring that energy back to school.
And there is one element, you talk about schools, those who create schools. I think there is a law who says a school should not be located less than 400 meters from a bar, or a bar should not be located 400 meters from a school. But we see schools nowadays sharing the fence.
And students taking one man. During
the day you see students mingling and then getting there.
It's so sad.
So it's so sad that the factors
there's no
are
control.
So many.
I'm so sorry. We are rather focused on controlling the wrong things, and the right things are let loose, and people do as they want in this country. That's what it is. There is some sort of chaos that you see out there. This, when you find a community that is not regulated, the results are exactly what we're talking about here today.
Breakdown in the social fabric.
Madame Ndongmo did mention about beautiful laws that we have in Cameroon. It is true. And I always hold to this. Cameroonians are intelligent.
Very, very
smart people. If you've traveled and you come to Cameroon, or you've met some of the wonderful people on earth, they are intelligent, smart people. But I don't know, maybe it is because of that they easily get away with some of these things put in place, these checks. I don't know. But again, I think there is some laxity at the level of those that control.
Maybe let's take the last message. The messages are so many we cannot read all. Good morning, my name is Moto from Rai. I believe most of the youths are also influenced by bad companies. So parents should be vigilant to the type of friends their children hang around with.
Hi, Moto.
Yes, we are gradually getting out of the program. But then I will want to plead, Madam
Dr. Fon.
Dr. Fon, you look at the camera. If you have a message to send to parents on this particular topic, what would that be?
Parents, mom and dad, you might be a single mom, a single dad. Be conscious of your core values. Be conscious of what you want to pass on to your children. Make it a duty. The same way you go to work, parenting should be a job, a full-time job. Look at your indicators, the activities that you need to do. The same way you have a plan of action for your job, have a plan of action for your family, have a vision for your family. Let everybody buy into the vision and you work towards that vision. Thank you.
Make sure your family members are involved in the family. Yes, Madam CV, I think you are more of national and international. A message to our policymakers on this.
Yeah, I'll just tell our policymakers, plead with them to salvage our nation by giving just one recommendation. We supported the government to draft and make Cameroon have a national action plan on the Security Council Resolution 1325 on women, peace and security. We are working on the second national action plan, and we made a concrete recommendation towards the second national action plan by asking the government to localize the action plan to make sure that in all the 360 communities there are local action plans. It means that this is a very good step to take, so that at different levels, at different communities, action plan, as Dr. Fon mentioned, should be taken. What is the agenda? What is the peace agenda? Peace agenda means fighting against everything that is distracting the child, that is making the child to be violent. So my call is to really make sure that this action plan, number one, is out because it's long due, and secondly, be able to give the possibility of implementation. I want to also ask them for as a strong message to say that what do we want to see? Where do you want to see our country in the next year? So do you want to see our children that are really the future of Cameroon? Do you want to see them perish like that? No, I don't think that's the way. So each person at different levels should take his mandate, as he indicated, his mandate very seriously, having in mind that we are all Cameroonians and then we need the best for our country.
Thank you so much, Mr. Awa. We are young people.
Right.
We are young people, and this concerns us.
Right.
Talk to your fellow young people as your last word of the program of today.
My fellow youths, it's not worth the fight. It's not worth killing your mom. It's not worth killing your own self. Whatever it is that has influenced you to think that taking this action is the right thing to do, only deceived you. That's not the way. We have the responsibility to build a nation, but we must begin by building ourselves and building our families first. We have the responsibility to contribute to the stability of the world. But all of this begins with you taking good care of yourself. And that means that whatever it is you are taking that influences you to take wrong actions towards yourself and your community, your parent, please, you've got to cut it down and let it go. It's not worth it. Until then, we meet at the top of the ladder. You've got to take your responsibility as a youth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Awa. I think we are signing out. Let's just take this one message. Greetings to all, Madam Mairatu from Marwa. Very interesting program. This is an issue which concerns the whole society. Thank you so much for contributing, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. It is here we draw the curtains of this program. And if you missed out on anything, the rebroadcast of this program will be on Wednesday at 11 p.m. prompt. And till we meet again next Saturday for another interesting edition. Next Saturday, the time is, as usual, 12:30 p.m. Bye-bye. And stay away from trouble.